We live, baby. We live, baby. Send that notification out. Send that notification out. Let me see. All my phones should light up within the next 3 minutes. Send that notification out. Send that noti out. Let them know we live over here. Yurt. Tap in, tap in. Like, share, comment, subscribe. What time is it? 8:32. YouTube be taking forever to send the notification out. Tap in, tap in, tap in.
Pilates be taking me out.
What?
Pilates.
The Pilates.
Mm.
The Punani's. Punani's.
Oh yeah, Punani ones.
They be sending out that notification slow as shit. Shit have been popped. Oh, I'm driving. Tap in, like, share, comment, live. I don't know why YouTube ain't sending out that what's name yet, but we live, baby. They're gonna have to catch up.
And chronologically, you have the Flintstone credit card printer. You're just starting to get into
low tech
making the plastics,
yeah.
low tech. What starts happening after that?
I started progressively making a little bit more money, and I was able to slowly just start upgrading every piece of equipment to make a better product.
Okay.
That was kind of like,
Don't
I say about a
like
year.
that.
It took about a
That's
year
right.
really to get going, to really get like the good equipment.
Like, share, comment, subscribe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I don't know why YouTube ain't sent out the baby.
And when I got to that point, I was like, okay, I kind of knew. Like, I didn't have the clientele yet, but I knew I had the product. I knew I had the product right.
They janky.
You know?
Were you honing in like the design of these cards?
The templates. Yeah, the templates. Everything had to be right. I mean, I had to figure out how to make the Visa logo.
Because there's holograms and shit built into these cards.
Yeah,
It's pretty technical the way to design them.
Yeah,
the Chinese guys.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
The hologram issue, I found a dude in China. Yeah, I found a dude in China that owned a printing company, and I basically
The Alibaba.
was it Alibaba or was it
Like, share, comment, subscribe.
or something like
DH
that?
Gate. That's still around.
Oh, they're still cranking.
Holy
Yeah,
shit,
they're
that's
cranking.
funny.
So I found a dude on there, and I cut out a credit card. I cut one out of like a real credit card, and then I mailed it to him to China.
So
And I was like, "Can you do this for me?" And I was like, I sent him. He's like, "Send me a sample." And I sent it to him, and I think like 6 weeks later, I got like a roll of like 5,000 Visa and MasterCard holograms, heat press hollows.
Damn.
like, share, comment, subscribe. Why the YouTube
And
ain't
once I had those, because I mean, my graphic design.
no notification yet?
I'm a wizard with that shit. I've always have been, you know. It's just something that I've just always been natural with. And I mean, once I did that, and once I had that, the holograms, and once I had the actual physical product made, once I figured out how to make the Visa
That's
logo,
crazy.
once I had figured out how to do the SIG
That's
strip
mad
on the back, the
bananas.
signature strip on the back, because that's like a whole thing, and then there's like this rear indent embossing. I had to figure that out. So there was hurdles, and it took a while. It took like 6 or 8 months before I had a verifiable, certifiable, like, you know, a product that you just couldn't shoot holes in. There's no way.
It would be completely indistinguishable from a regular credit card.
Yeah, if you put
like, share, comment, subscribe,
and you put mine next to it, there'd be no difference.
We're working off no notifications, so if you don't know I'm live right now, that's janky.
So
like,
what
share,
are you doing
comment,
with that?
subscribe.
So now you're making these credit cards and you're selling them on these forums or what?
I started using.
I want to see some nipples
first.
Okay.
Because I
like, share, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, to just to see, do test runs and flying colors.
Say cheese.
Watch 100 plus channels of live TV, your favorite sports, movies, and more with no hidden fees or long-term contracts. Plus, get up to 6 accounts per household with YouTube TV. Try it free. Terms
Yeah,
apply.
I
Cancel
know that's
anytime.
right.
What is you
Just
talking about? What?
my friend, can she come over?
You know, nobody even bat an eyelash. I
No.
never had one issue, never one single issue.
Mm.
Maybe a couple
She ain't
declines,
drinky. Is that
you know,
all?
just because the dump information wasn't
Mhm.
probably, you know, good or whatever. But yeah. So I was using them, and then I figured out, okay, let me get on the forum. And I was
That
already
makes sense.
dealing with people on the forum from buying
Oh.
dumps and buying you know, buying plastic and stuff like that. So I talked to a few of my guys on the forum, and I had to get, you know, they had to
He
vouch
always
for
gonna
me.
make it.
But since I'd already been on the forum for a year and a half, 2 years, that wasn't a really big deal. You know,
Yeah.
and I was on 2 or 3 different
37.
forums. So like I was
You drink?
pretty well known in the community. You know, it's just
So
like
you had like a
40
popular
minutes
screen
away.
name,
What they
I
gotta
did,
do?
yeah, US Plastico.
US Plastico.
That's what
They-
probably
they
in
have
the
some
long
nice
run, that's what
streaming
probably got me
time.
fucked.
Really?
Was trying to be clever, and you know what I mean? And
You're trying to brand yourself.
I was thinking, you know, I should have just been like, you know, anonymous or
Sounds good.
whatever. But
Thank
so I
you.
think that's
Yeah.
But you have to stay consistent on that
Come on,
scam
bitch.
in that
12
scam world,
minutes.
though, right? I mean, people have to know who you are to be able to trust you.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. And like I said, I had 2 years in at that point, and I knew all the
Was she on?
major players in the game, and I knew who was doing what just from being on the forums and you know being on IRC.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So what happens next?
My product got better.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you already meet Milmo Man?
Like, share, comment, subscribe. This
No,
we gonna
Mellow
be
Man
streaming all night.
Mellow Man came after I got
I
onto
know this,
Dark Market,
you know.
Okay.
but I wasn't on. No, that was
Oh,
Carter.su.
you
I
snoring?
met Melmo Man,
We'll be
and that came later. That
Me.
came, you know, that was probably towards the very end,
You
like,
left
at the very pinnacle of my career, if you
Mm.
want to put it that way.
Melmo Man.
Yeah, Melmo Man was the dude who opened up all the doors for me in the karting world.
Really?
He had all the he knew. Yeah, he plugged me in.
So you still
That
at this
was it.
point? At this point, you got the guy from China, who printed thousands of these holograms for you for your credit cards.
Yeah.
You had these fucking rock solid fake.
I ain't
credit
watching
cards
no 3 hour video tonight.
You
Y'all
still
tripping.
had like a long way to go before you reached your peak.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I had no
doing
clientele.
marathons, 3 hour long
I had no
videos.
clientele, and it took a while.
Falling
It took
asleep
maybe
on it.
6 months to build trust in the community.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, man.
So thousands of these credit cards.
I don't know why you ain't seen
literally
out that what's
taking these
name. I
little
gotta share a
holograms
video. I gotta share live. We
and
live on
you're
like
physically like placing them
different
on each of these credit cards with your
platforms.
hands, like
Each one.
4
hand by
YouTube
hand.
channels and 1 Twitch.
Each credit card.
Holy
each
shit,
card's
dude. How long does
handmade.
that take? How long does it take to do one card?
Oh, I had it down. I could print one card in less than 5 minutes. I could print
Everything, print
I
it,
could-
stick everything onto it.
Yeah, well, yeah. See, I would already have all the templates lined up in
What it
Photoshop,
do?
Okay.
like ready to go. All my
Mr.
windows,
Damn Fool. Shout out Mr. Damn Fool. Like, share,
You know
comment,
what I mean?
subscribe.
And I
You
would
know what
load
the
maybe
rules
like 10,
is.
15 cards in the printer, and I would be like, okay, print in sequence. Print 1, print 2, print 3, print 4, print 5. So then it would run out all the cards, print them front and back. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It would put all, and the only thing I really had to do myself was emboss and do the hologram. So I would have to physically place the hologram myself and use a heat press to adhere it to the plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would have to manually emboss the card myself. And this
So-
is before I got the auto embosser, where I could just throw them in and do a batch, and it would, you know, run a 50 or 100 at a time.
Damn.
Yeah. So when I got really efficient at it, I could maybe do 100 cards in an hour. About an hour, I could print,
He's going
hologram,
crazy with
and
the
emboss
cards.
about 100
So you
cards.
make close to 1,000 cards in a day.
Yeah, easy. Yeah. If I'm cranking away, but then, you know, sometimes you have problems. The
Mhm.
printer gets too hot and starts fucking melting cards and printing shit sideways, you know. So you've always
Yeah.
got little issues,
Right.
yeah, like that you got to deal with. But yeah, I can do 1,000 cards in a day.
What's the
on a
most
good
cards
day
that you did in a day, you think?
My name.
that I've manufactured in one day.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think I've done about 800, between 6 and 800 in one
Wow.
day. You know, on a good day, if everything
Mhm.
was going right and I had all
Mhm.
my equipment operating
Mhm.
properly. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you start getting this out there on online or on these black market on these on the dark web and start getting customers to buy shitloads of them?
Yeah, so the first Carter forum that I was on, I went ahead and I just made my first post. Here I am, new vendor.
Right.
Here's my product. You know, you post pictures. It's like a whole. Well, it was like.
Like, share, comment,
And
subscribe.
then, you know, I would get maybe like 1 or 2 orders a month.
Mhm.
I went locked
And then
on
once those
Instagram.
orders came in and like people started leaving positive feedback, it just kind of snowballed after that. And then I remember the day, because I would only get maybe 1 or 2 orders, but I remember the day I woke up and I think I checked one of my emails and I had 15 or 20 orders waiting for me, and I couldn't believe it.
How much is
$1,000.
one order is $1,000?
Yeah.
For how many cards?
100.
100
I
cards.
see.
Yeah,
Donna
$20 a card,
Summers
100
and some
cards,
fire
2
shit.
drivers, or I'd make IDs for you, however many you wanted.
Okay.
And then I would do, I think it was like 100 cards embossed, everything encoded, numbers
And
That's too much.
IDs?
and IDs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But I wouldn't make 100 IDs. Obviously, I'd make like 2 or 3,
Okay.
or whatever they wanted. But I mean, so there was a cap on that.
Like, share, comment,
So
subscribe.
IDs have to obviously correspond with the credit cards.
We back at it again. We might do an
Because
all
say you
nighter.
go to a store and you make a purchase.
Man, they still ain't sent this
Like
motherfucker
$300 or
out. That's
$400.
crazy.
Like a lot of stores, like people don't realize this, but a lot of stores, like say Best Buy, you go to
Mhm.
Best Buy, if you make a purchase over $300, they physically ask for your card,
Mm.
and they physically take your card and they go on their
What's that?
POS machine. Now their POS machine, the point of
Tuesday?
sale service machine,
Yeah.
won't let them process the sale unless
Smacking on
the 4 digits on the front of the card match what's actually encoded to the card.
Mm.
So it's like a security step. So what they do is they take the card and they punch the numbers into the computer because you've already swiped it.
Y'all
So
see
they're gonna
her?
punch these numbers in, and if these numbers
gonna
on the
make her a
card
star.
don't match what's being swiped, it's automatic fraud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to have the corresponding plastic to
We're
match
gonna make
the
her a
numbers, and you have to have the ID because they're gonna ask for ID because I don't have the people's PIN number, so you're not processing it as debit. You always have
Like,
to
share,
process
comment,
it as
subscribe,
credit,
man.
even though it's a debit card.
Got it.
So they have to have ID.
Should I
When you
turn her
process
into a
anything for
model?
credit, they always ask for
Streamer?
ID, always, especially if it's a big purchase.
Right.
Y'all let me know.
Huh.
Louis Vuitton, you go
Share
to Louis
this
Vuitton
live.
and
Like,
try and
share,
buy
comment on
a
this live.
$2,000 handbag on a credit card, they're gonna ask you for ID,
Right. Right.
1,000%.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, even if you go in
Take
there
that
looking the
card,
part, they're
Move
still
that.
gonna ask.
Move
They always
this
ask
way.
for ID.
Put this on.
Right.
You know. So you have to have the ID to match the card. Everything has to jive. The numbers, everything has to be coherent.
Okay. So is there a minimum number of cards they had to buy for one order? So is the minimum 100 minimum
It was
100?
$1,000 minimum order.
Okay.
So it was 100 cards, and then I would work with them on the IDs, like whatever they wanted.
Okay.
Because those were easy. To make.
Cool. So that's good money. You're getting a couple orders a day, making a couple thousand.
I was
bucks a day.
doing like 1 or 2 orders a month, and then
Okay.
like I said, I woke up that one morning and I remember I had 20 orders waiting on me. I couldn't believe it.
One morning you just had 20.
Like,
orders.
share, comment,
Yeah,
subscribe.
yeah, I remember that
Dang,
day
they
distinctly.
doing-
Yeah,
I hate when YouTube.
I couldn't believe it. I
Who
was,
was the
I was
person who
running around the
ordered
house
those?
jumping off the fucking furniture, dude.
Were you?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I mean, 20 grand, that's a lot of money for somebody who
Sure.
doesn't have shit.
It's a lot of
And
money
for somebody who's
everybody.
been getting robbed and pouring all their fucking every dollar they've had into this shit for the past 2.5
You don't go on
years
YouTube,
and not
right?
going anywhere.
Jamie Taylor.
What else are you doing in the meantime besides? I mean, obviously you're just sitting online.
Yeah,
Like you have your info sitting online for people to order,
Huh?
Mhm.
and there's only so much
said you
time
what?
you're spending making these cards. What else are you doing?
I was
Huh?
doing some online
My
carding.
lip
I was
gloss.
doing
I'm
some,
like,
some
what? You
virtual
already
card-
talking
virtual
sexy?
carding. I was doing virtual carding. I was going in stores.
wrong with
here and
that?
there. Now, mind you, I wasn't spending any money at this time either. 'Cause I had cards. If I
Mm.
needed gas, I would go
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
fill up with a card at the gas station.
Huh?
If I needed groceries, I would take a card to the grocery and buy $300-400
Mother
in
geese,
groceries.
huh?
You know, so all my money is basically just going in a fucking shoebox in the closet, and I'm
You
not really
smoking?
spending any of it. Yeah. And at this point in time, I had been living off
I'm
of
recording.
credit
Hold on,
cards
let me-
credit cards for
this
probably
mic.
3.5 years. Like I didn't have a job for 3.5 years. I was just using stolen credit cards for everything.
Where were you living?
At this point, I was in Coral Springs.
Okay. And you
Uh,
pay your rent with the credit cards?
Oh well, I would just go if like when rent time would roll around, I'd go grab a laptop or 2 laptops,
Think about
Your
it.
cash?
just cash it out, go pay $1,000 for rent or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. What?
Ain't nobody playing. I
life.
don't know.
How old were you?
Early
at this
20s.
point, when
early
you got the
20s.
$20,000 order, early 20s.
Yeah, I was about 25, 24, 25.
Okay.
Quick little video for y'all, real quick. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, like, share, comment on this live. We're finna go right back live. We're finna get back to the gyms. We're finna live stream Q&A and all that. All right, so make sure y'all tapping in. I'm finna go right back live. We doing Q&As. We're finna talk CPNs. We're finna talk check fraud. We're finna talk all that. So make sure y'all stay live, stay tuned, subscribe, hit the notification bell on all the channels so y'all know when I'm live. I don't know why YouTube ain't sending out the live notification yet, but it's cool because we're finna go right back live. All right, so make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all share so we can get into the algorithm where people can tap in, ask questions, and let's get to this money, y'all. You feel me?